This is Umar for IFLT. We were in beautiful Riyadh. Your man Tyson Fury is opening up Riyadh season in just a few days, and the man who's been pulling all the strings behind Team Fury, Spencer Brown.
How you doing?
Very good. I think this is your first on-camera chat with IFL, is it?
Yeah, I don't really get involved with on-camera stuff, but you know, you've been very good with us, so I said I'd do a little thing with you, you know.
Absolutely, it makes sense to as well, because this whole situation that's brought Tyson to Saudi Arabia, opening up Riyadh season with the backing of His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh and Dr. Rakan and everyone here in Saudi Arabia, came about through you. You were telling me about it.
It was a funny old thing. It was we got a knock on the door. We'd previously had talks, but we thought it was a load of rubbish, you know. And we thought it was just, you know, because you do hear a lot of people saying a lot of things, and it's usually just a load of rubbish. But this was not. This was genuine. One of the chief, I could say, scouts. Really, he's more of a scout than anything else. He goes around the world procuring people to play sport or do events, and his name's Riko. He's probably one of the best agents in the world. He's a very close friend with Messi. Does a lot of work with Messi and some of the really big football names. But he got involved in this, and I don't think he knew what he got involved with at the start of it, and it's ended up with this. So fair play to Riko, and it was quite a short journey. From when we started to now, it's not been a long journey. It's been, you know, in the background. You know, fair play to Frank Warren and George Warren. They've pushed me all the way to do these deals.
How much of a relief was that you say it was a short journey to this point? Because obviously the last year and a half has been a very frustrating time for Tyson Fury.
I think it's been frustrating for everybody concerned. I think that it's been a long time in the making. This, all right, we made the actual fight shortly, but the process has been a long one, and we've now come to it where it's something we all want to see. It's been absolutely marvellous way we've been treated. I mean, you've seen it yourself. It's incredible out here, isn't it? It's a new place to come and see. You know, everybody's been to Dubai and them places, but listen, if you don't want to drink for a couple of days, you want to have a great time and with top facilities, top food, this is the place.
Absolutely is. And I've seen the promotion across this fight when you look at London, Las Vegas,
level.
Tokyo.
Different level.
We saw the grand rivals last night here in Riyadh.
Different level. We just like to, obviously, people are just getting used to boxing here. You know, they're not really seen a lot of boxing before, but we've had a few other boxing shows here that Eddie Earn successfully put on with the people that he was working with. And I think this is a new generation for boxing. I think this could be what they actually needed, because they're talking about doing very big things here. This is no sort of flash in the pan or I will do this and then we'll go on to something else. This is big. I mean, I know they've got the WWE out here directly afterwards. They've got the UFC at the end of the month. They've got a huge horse show. They've got a huge tennis event. So, I mean, where does it stop? I think their route to market, they're a virgin country. If you look at it, they're a virgin country. Their route to market is through sport, and that's the way they're looking at it.
When you spoke to His Excellency, I know you were with him last night. I'm sure you've had numerous conversations in person, on the phone, etc.
Yeah.
What's his message about his commitment to boxing in the long term, Spencer?
Well, it's a huge message. Look, I think that, like I just said to you then, it's going to be massive out here, boxing. We feel it's probably the new home of boxing. But he's not just looking at here, he's looking at investing all around the world in boxing. So it's not just a Saudi thing, you know, he's looking to be a big promoter around the world. And that's what he is. He's essentially the biggest promoter that probably the boxing game's ever seen. And when I say showman, this is the best showman I've ever seen. Because when you see what's going on, you've already seen it, it's incredible. When you see what happens at the fight, during the fight, in the fight, you'll see a different experience that everybody's going to get.
So a few months ago, when Frank Warren jumped on talkSPORT and was talking about the game being changed, this is a game changer. He got a lot of heat for that. Is this what he was referring to?
Exactly. He didn't want to let the cat out the bag, which is fair play to Frank. He's not said a lot about it, but I won't be saying too much about it either. All I can tell you is it is a massive game changer, and it's something that is going to get every boxing fan excited, because only the big fights are going to take place, and the small man is going to get a chance as well. So the guy in the street who's been looking to do something with boxing for a long time and get themselves known, it's not easy, this game, is it? You can easily give up 5 years of your life and end up with nothing. But the way they're looking at it, they're looking not just at the big, huge names, they're looking at from the ground upwards. They've just employed Joe Gallagher as a trainer. What a move that is. I suppose Joe Gallagher will be over the moon, because it's something he probably wanted to do and didn't think he'd ever get to do. They're investing in Mike Tyson gyms here. They're doing all sorts weird and wonderful things. But Turki Al-Sheikh's got an unbelievable mind, a boxing mind. He's not a big football man, but he's into mixed martial arts, he's into boxing. I think we're very fortunate that he is.
Thank God he is. Yeah.
Thank God he is, because some of the stuff that's coming is going to be very big. It's going to be good for everybody, not just the fighters, the promoters, even you. It's going to be fantastic for you, because it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be unbelievable for the fans, because they'll be able to watch boxing all over the world. I can't say much more than that, because I'll get in trouble.
A lot of people watching this will be interested in how the Usyk deal came about, and I've heard it was done really quickly, Spence.
Yeah, it was done really quickly. Look, it was. We all wanted the Usyk fight to happen, and I, with the help of everybody, I'd done the first fight, asked for permission to do the second fight, said I think I can get this done, and a couple of people laughed at me and thought it was a joke. And I rung Frank, I rung George. Bob was informed. Could I try and do this fight? Everybody said, go ahead, crack away. If you can do it, good luck. Probably thinking that this fella's got no chance. But so it was us who approached Usyk for the fight through Tyson. Tyson was with me at the start. He told me what he wanted, but I was basically a mouthpiece for Tyson. So went there, he told me what he wanted. We'd done the deal with Dr. McAn, Turki Al-Sheikh, in a room within 4 hours. And that was it. It's all documented, so people can see it everywhere. But that's how easy it was. But like I said, I've said this a few times in a couple of little different interviews, that it's so easy to make a fight when you have the resources behind you to do it. Listen, you could have done it. Not just me doing it, you could have done it. Anybody could have done it. It was that easy to do when you've got the resources. So it was a process of meeting first to make sure that he was not in contract with anybody. We then the financial side was discussed. Then we all went from New York. We met back in London, and like I said, it was done. I think we had to get the solicitor out for an hour, because there was one part of the contract that wasn't clear to everybody. From then on, so there was an initial contract done, and then after that, it all went very well and very smoothly.
Spencer, I'm not sure how much you can tell me on this, but there are reports that there is a two-way rematch clause for this Usyk fight.
I think everybody knows in a fight of this magnitude that there would probably have to be a rematch, not just for both sides. Do you agree with that? I mean, both sides really need. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, we are so confident in Tyson, and we think Tyson's a big favourite in this fight.
And you're gunning for December?
For a number of reasons, we love the fight. So does Tyson. And all this rubbish about he's a ducker. Come on. He's no ducker. If you've seen him up close in the gym, he don't duck anybody. He's not interested. But the fight has to be right, and the fight had to be done right. And fights of this magnitude, they're not cheap. They don't come cheap.
Well, from what you just said there about the deal being done in 4 or 5 hours, I think that squashes the whole narrative that he was ducking anyone.
The whole narrative was a load of rubbish, and the people that were using this narrative, people know who it was, and people saw who it was. And I'd just like to say to your viewers and everybody, don't be fooled by some of these people, because they don't have the information or the know-how or anything to make comments like that, because they weren't in the room with us. They didn't see what went on, but they still made this narrative that he was ducking Usyk. We went after Usyk, and when you have an interview with Usyk's manager, he will tell you that I rang him. We want this fight. They were Turkey Al Sheikh, MBS, and Dr. McAn. We were given full backing by all of them. Get the fight done. Go and get the fight done. We want the fight, and we want it in Saudi Arabia, and get it done as soon as you can.
This relationship now that you have got with the gentleman that you just mentioned just now, Tyson has, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, they've said that now essentially those parties that I've just listed hold the keys to boxing in Saudi Arabia, whereas before, obviously, Eddie skills challenged Joshua, done a couple of fights out here, and were kind of leading the way. Do you guys hold the keys now?
Look, I wouldn't say. Look, the people we're dealing with, there are people that are big on loyalty and trust, and they're very, very. They open their hearts up to you. You know, their hearts are very open. You've experienced yourself how lovely the people are here. Am I right?
100%.
I mean, you get invited to people's houses every day, don't you? Yeah. It's a custom. I'll tell you one thing I didn't know about this country. If you was to have a fight with a Saudi Arabian, you wouldn't be in trouble. The Saudi Arabian would be in trouble.
Is that so?
Yeah. That would be the case, because we're inviting you into the country, so you have respect for people who come into the country. So all this rubbish about you can get chucked in a jail for 100 years, it's a load of absolute poo. So what I would say is, yes, going back to your question, yes, I think they do hold the keys to the kingdom. Yeah, I would say that. But that's not to say any other promoter can't come in and work in this fantastic place, because that's simply not the case. And I think the door has been left open for a lot of promoters to come and work here.
Just want to go back to December 23rd as well. Is that what we're gunning for, Spence?
Full steam ahead. It's going to be very tough. It's going to be very hard on the fighters, especially Tyson, because he's the one who's going to fight last, because everybody thinks this is a foregone conclusion. But did you see the size of that guy yesterday? A monster. A physical specimen and a monster. So, you know, I know what everybody's saying, oh, he should beat him in 1 or 2 rounds. That simply doesn't mean to be, or don't need to be the case. It could actually go further. We don't know anything about this guy, do we? We've never seen him fight, so we can't make judgment on him, can we? Surely.
Just lastly, I want to mention as well, you're talking about how sort of on a smaller scale people in boxing can get involved. A prime example of that is Jack McAn. You've obviously worked with Warren Boxing Management, Alfie Warren, Robert Warren, etc., to get Jack on the card. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we started when we started these negotiations with all the undercard. You know, it wasn't one of those things where we're having him on, and you know, we were invited by His Excellency to put people forward who would we think was a great fight. Jack McAn struck me as a lovely young man, a good fighter, and he's a crossover fighter. So he's come from the MMA straight over to boxing. And I'll tell you what else excited us, that he's fighting Roberto Duran Jr. So that was a great match, and we thought it'd be good for the card because Roberto's actually going to be there, and we thought it'd be a great fight. So we're backing the smaller fighters, and you'll see that more and more and more. We're not just looking to the greatest stars on earth to come and fight in Saudi Arabia. We're looking for, people who want to fight, maybe not had the greatest luck, and maybe we can give them a bit of luck over here.
Just lastly, to close off, Spencer, a big talking point out here during this fight week has been talkSPORT and Team Fury's relationship with them, etc. So, from a Team Fury point of view, I just want to clarify your guys' stance with talkSPORT.
Look, the team have a few different members of the team have got different attitudes to it, but everybody's got one attitude, and that we don't want talkSPORT in the building. Not because we've really got nothing against talkSPORT, but the way we feel that Tyson's been treated by them, we feel that it wouldn't be right for them to be there. And look, Tyson, he doesn't hate on anybody, and I'm being serious on that. I mean, I've watched people on talkSPORT berate Tyson and slag him and call him a ducker. You know, I've heard him called a coward. I've heard him called all sorts. But that's just to get a narrative and to sell what they want to sell. Clicks, whatever they want to. But obviously, they're in the business that they want people watching talkSPORT. So at the time, it was a great narrative for use for them, but it was wrong. It was totally wrong. The whole thing was a load of rubbish because we were at the back of it, and we were watching what's going on. We were doing the deals at the time when he's still going into him. I mean, look, Simon Jordan. I watched a few interviews with Simon Jordan, and look, I've got nothing against that guy, and I've got to admit, I'll hold my hand up. I used to love watching some of his stuff, but I found him that when it came to Tyson, he was talking out of both sides of his mouth. So it would be one side he'd be the best thing in the world, and the other side he'd be a ducker, and I don't want to go into. I'm not going to slag Simon Jordan off. Otherwise, I'd make myself as bad as him, wouldn't I? It'd make me look as bad as him, and I'm not going to say anything about him. And I believe the man's been he's had an illness. Yeah. And he's not very well, and I hope you get better, Simon. I hope everything goes well.
I think he has made a recovery.
Oh,
so
fantastic!
He's good.
So I'm pleased for that.
Yeah,
and God bless him. But we can't. He's not only am I his manager, but he's my friend. And to sit there and watch all that going on, I think it's wrong. It's.
Is it because a lot of the public at the time seemed to buy that narrative as well?
Yeah, but you're selling a narrative, aren't you? You've got to sell something for people to buy it, haven't you? If I've got a fruit stall down there, I'm selling apples, I'm offering you apples. If you buy them, that's up to you. So I just think that it wasn't just him. It was Adam Cattrall who, I think it was his own podcast, Is Tyson a Myth? Is Tyson a myth? Is he taking the PISS? Is it, I couldn't believe it. And he went in on Tyson. And I'd done a bit of research and I found out that he was an ex-disc jockey who's a big MMA man. Nothing wrong with that. But when you're getting involved with boxing and you want to make comments about heavyweight champions of the world who have done, all right, he might have said some silly things in the past. So what? We all say silly things, don't we? All of us. But for him to go in on Tyson like he did and then make out, him and Nick Pete to make out they were friends of Tyson's, you don't need friends like that. You certainly don't. And if you're listening, Adam Cattrall, or you're watching, you should be ashamed of yourself, mate. Because some of the things you said was a disgrace. And you didn't know what you was talking about and you didn't know the facts behind them. So maybe you should make an apology.
Okay, listen, Spencer, I do appreciate your time here in Riyadh. We look forward to a great rest of the week. We're only halfway through it.
Oh, it's going to be unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If anything's to go by the build-up, I walked in and there was a rapper on there called Little Baby.
Little Baby, very famous. Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know who he was, but there was a rapper on the stage doing it. He had 50 dancers. The lighting show we got the same people who done the American football final.
Right.
What do they call that, American football thing?
NFL, you mean?
Yeah, the NFL final.
Yeah.
We've got the same people doing that as for the production. We've got the same people doing this as that. So it should be unbelievable. What I've seen, it's going to be mind-blowing.
Not bad for a fella from Morecambe Bay.
No.
Spencer, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure we'll do another catch-up soon.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.